and some quick in-house stuff. The NCAA test. All the test leaders, we all should have met with our groups, and everyone should, we all should have some information coming into, we're going over the test as a whole next week, right, Jen?
Yes, we can, since they moved the date.
Okay, so next week we will go over the test as a whole. I know a lot of you have taken the test. Some of you might be frightened to take it. I don't know what answer you're waiting for. Some people have gone to like 4 or 5 different groups to compare the answers. What I would suggest is getting the answers is fine, but getting an understanding why the answer is what it is the purpose of it. You know, everybody wants to get 100, and that's fine. Getting 100 is fine, but if you only keep 10% of that information, what good is 100 gonna do you when the ball is tossed up in the air? All right. So let's just make sure that, you know, in getting the answers, we get an understanding. All right. And use the wisdom, because wisdom is what? Applied knowledge. So other than that, Jen, you got any housekeeping?
I have an Excel spreadsheet if anybody needs it. With the questions and the answers to all 125. Not that I'm encouraging people to get 100, but I want you to understand the rule. Don't get me wrong. I want you to understand the rule. I'll even give you a history of some of those rules. I want all of you to get 100, and I have every single question and answer.
I'll take it, Dee, and I probably
back to Chicagoland. I'm there, okay? So,
hey,
sorry,
Dee, especially since I created some of those situations over which we're being tested.
I probably did too. Believe me. And you know, well, I'm going to show you guys a play tonight that really did. I don't think. Sorry, Addie there's probably deer eating my bird seed right now. So my dog is barking. Yeah, I think there are some rules in there that I helped create too. But since I started refereeing before some of you were born, so I don't even want to talk about it. I'm going on mute so you don't hear my killer dog. So I'm out of here.
All right. So obviously we have a guest speaker tonight, everybody. And I'm so glad that when we reached out to Dee, that she was extremely excited to help. And I am excited for her to teach you guys, because she is someone that I learned from. And if I can't teach, I go grab the one who taught me. So as I learn, you guys learn. And this is going to be a very rich and very powerful session that she has. She has a really good presentation for you guys. She doesn't need a presentation. She doesn't need an introduction. Dee, it's all yours.
Thank you. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
You are so mean.
You know, guys, thank you for allowing me to visit your Chicagoland. I know many of you. I've known Janine forever. I don't even want to go back how many years we've known each other. You know, I see lots of familiar faces from camps, whatnot. And I appreciate being invited to Chicagoland. I don't have any deep dish in front of me, although I'm more of a New York pizza than deep dish anyway, sorry. I like to fold it in half and have the grease drip off. But tonight we are talking Monitor. Now, let me look. How many people are familiar with Monitor? How many people have used Monitor? All right, I see some hands, and I know I don't have video on everyone. Okay. And what we want to do is try to take anybody who's afraid of Monitor. I want to take that fear away, because the Monitor, you know, actually, I was in the NBA when we first started using instant replay, as it was called. And it was interesting when I was in the NBA and the NCAA started bringing on the Monitor. I remember a distinct conversation with June Courteau, who you should recognize that name as a former national coordinator and, you know, refereed 40 plus years in this game. But I told her I knew the NCAA was going to make so many Monitor rules that Pandora was going to have too many toys. I know it. And to this day, I still say that. But at the same time, let's not be smarter than Monitor. So tonight, I just want to, and I'm going to blow through this PowerPoint and then we're going to look at plays. And please, guys, whatever questions you have, stop. I'm ADHD, so I can entertain stimuli from all directions. I don't care. So this is your training session. I appreciate you inviting me, but I'm going to bust off here. I think you guys are going to give me the ability, right?
You should be host.
All right. Let me see if I can find let me minimize that and come
And
up.
I will say, guys, if you also utilize the chat, myself, Kevin, or Rachel will interject with questions, or we'll wait till the end as time allows as well.
So as I'm showing that, can people see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. So what do I need to do here? Hold on. Let's go back. The dog is back in here. Addison, I don't have any more cookies. Okay. Nah, I don't need that. All right, guys, bear with me as I get through this Zoom stuff here. Come on. All right, I need some clues here. Hold on, Jen. All right, let's go here. I don't want to stop that.
Is there a share screen little green button at the bottom?
I'm going to get there. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, share screen. Now you'll see that. Let me get to. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Let me exit that. I hit share screen, so hopefully you'll be able to see when I get to my PowerPoint. How about now?
Nope.
Are you kidding me? I hit share screen and it still didn't do it. Gotta love technology here, guys. And I did go to school for engineering, so this is really.
Do you want to email it to me and maybe I can do it for you?
Okay, let's do this. Share screen. All right, hold on. I think I might do it now.
Oh, I think you did it. Got it.
You are sharing. You are screen sharing. All right.
I knew you'd get it.
We're there. Yes. All right. Slideshow from beginning. All right. So let's just talk. First of all, don't be afraid of it. And I'm just going to go through real quickly. Monitor review. First of all, the mechanics of it all. When you go out there, find out, do you have a monitor? What kind of monitor is it? Who's running the replay? And this year is going to be interesting. And all of you people who keep skipping Rule 11, don't do it. Because as we just were talking before, everyone came on board, there's going to be some games that I test positive. Whether it's real or false, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to work that night. So Patty's going to be calling. Who's in the area? Who can get there? Whatever. So you may end up in a game that you're not used to using a monitor, and you're going to be like, but you need to be apprised of Rule 11. Don't skip it. Okay? You're going to end up, I promise you, a lot of you are going to be working games that you didn't think you had this year. So who's running the replay? And this year, I'm going to let my DV Sport person run their toggle. They're going to be over there. I'm going to go over there with a mask and tell them exactly what I want. The headset, they still have it in the CSA mechanics. I still put it in here because you might have some locations who have headsets, but typically we don't use the headset that much anymore. Historically, we did. I would actually be talking to the producer in the truck, but we don't do that very often anymore. But if they have one and you have audio, make sure if there is somebody in a truck that you can talk to, make friends with them because they're great. You need the digital stopwatch. That must be on the table by rule. Now, I'll teach you how to look good holding the digital stopwatch as you use DV Sports stopwatch. but don't admit to it. You'll look good. Hey, I'm timing. Because by rule, you have to. You have to use the digital stopwatch. Communication after checking the book, you know, who's running the replay, make friends with them. Sometimes you're going to run into some techs who are easier than others to work with. We're people, but you got to make friends with them anyway, because, you know, they're going to help you in crunch time. Okay, we talked about that. The conference should take place after we check the book. It shouldn't take that long. And I always ask them to show me all the angles and show me the angles they got going on. And do not, I'm going to emphasize it. You know, I know many of you have seen me at camp, probably talked about this before. Never use the banner on the bottom of the replay. You've got to find the actual game clock somewhere in one of those frames. And I don't care if that tech tells you, hey, we've synced it before the game. Not good enough. It really isn't. There's typically a 0.2 lag between their equipment and real clock. You know, and the thing is, most of the time, if it's one of those games that this is a new thing that you have instant replay or monitor, tell the coaches. But typically, if they're used to the monitor, you don't have to tell them. They're going, yeah, we know. There's always a monitor there. And you're supposed to tell them also by protocol, if we have a replay, please keep everybody in the bench area. Like I said, introduce yourself to your tech, be pals. See, you can be Tigger. Because the wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one, and probably people are happy about that. How many angles? Like I told you, stress one should actually have the game clock in it, real game clock. Because there are times you've got to find the real time. I've used reflection off of backboards. It's just crazy to find the red light on the other end. Any audio? Typically with DV Sport, we don't have audio, which is really ironic because if you know your rule on the shot clock, what's our first line that we're supposed to go to is the sound of the shot clock. But we don't have it typically. So we go to zeros. I'd love them to change the rule. They didn't ask me lately. Advise them you may need to go back 10, 15 seconds at the start of the play. Make sure it's the live feed. The men's NCAA a couple years ago in the tournament realized they blundered because they used slow-mo to time a play. It wasn't real slow-mo, but it was not exactly real time. So you've got to make sure it's the live feed. And again, have that digital stopwatch. Can't use iPhones. Can't use anything else but the digital stopwatch. But wink, wink, you'll be using the DV Sport timing as a backup. Backup. Notice how I said that. Okay. On the court, you're going to get with your partners. We're going to decide what our call is on the floor because there may be a time you go to that monitor and the gosh darn thing's not working. See, Jen, I told you I behaved tonight. I said, gosh darn, you didn't know those words could come out of my mouth. But first, discuss the play with your partners, make the decision on the court. Just tell the scorer what our decision is and make sure, because I've had situations when we're talking to the partners, sometimes when you look at your replay, you may not even realize it. There's a little player head right there listening in and it doesn't look good. Make sure, clear the area. Where are the players? Get them out of there because they're going to try to listen. The coaches are going to try to listen. Inform the head coaches and have players move to the respective benches. Do you like my little bouncing ball? Come on, on the, yeah, okay. Only 2 officials at the monitor at a time. So the crew chief or lead referee will always go to the monitor with one, the U1 or U2. Typically we say whoever is involved in the play, I want them there first. And then if we need to, the third one's halfway between monitoring, and I think that may even be like a rules test question, one of the 125. If we need, we'll get the third one in and switch them out. If it's halftime or end of the game, you may need security depending on the situation. Obtain the information, use all possible info to resolve. Sometimes you don't even need to go to the monitor, guys. If the information is readily available by play-by-play, use it. Use it. Don't make it, we're concerned about pace of play. And I know you've watched some of the games on television when the announcers are like, oh my God, how long are they going to be there? So if you can get the information quickly from play-by-play, use it. If you have an alternate, make sure you use them. They've seen the whole thing, hopefully. Just get whatever information you need to help you make these decisions efficiently, quickly. When reviewing the fight altercation situations, take the review one piece at a time. And there is no shame, if you need to, getting a piece of paper and a pen and writing things down. Because when you get situations, there was the Baylor Tennessee game the other year, Brittany Griner came off the bench. Obviously Baylor was up at that time that Britt was sitting on the bench, but she comes off the bench. Tennessee players came off their bench. They got Brittany and another Baylor player, but they didn't see the Tennessee players come off the bench. They didn't get the correct angle to see that. Don't rush it, especially when you have fight situations or altercations or whatever. Don't worry about the Jeopardy music playing. It really doesn't matter, And what's really fun is that some of the locations will even replay this on the Jumbotron, so all the fans can weigh in on your decision-making too. Don't let any of that impact what you're doing over there. Easier said than done, but don't let it do it. Review the play. Make sure only you and your partners can see the monitor. And I'm telling you, there are some locations that the monitor may be closer to one bench than the other. It's typically the home bench. Wonder how that happens. So try to shield it, make sure the coaches are obviously within their bench area, which is 28 feet, not the 38 feet mark. For monitor review, they're at 28. The headset, referee, whatever, use the toggle. And guess what, guys? If you're used to using the toggle and you're working, and it's kind of weird this year, we don't know what kind of games we're going to be working, but if you're working an early season game or you have a game that may be really lopsided, go ahead and let somebody else use the toggle if they're not familiar with it. Give people the opportunity to get some experience with this to remove the fear factor. Okay. Critical timing area, malfunction is involved. The replay info may be used. All final decisions verified via digital stopwatch. Okay. Wink. We got it. But again, if somebody had, like I said, that DV Sport time, that stopwatch there, use that. It's a great tool. Also, when you have some games and it's happening everywhere, whether you're on radio or whatever, they're putting mics everywhere. So be aware of where those mics are. Typically, they might they'll paste them right, in front of the official scorer. Know that they're there. Know that Holly is right behind the one bench, reading your lips and reporting it live. It happens. So just be aware of sideline reporters and all the mics. And I know you think this is a lot of you are like, oh, that's not the kind of game I'm going to be working. Don't say that. You never know. So, and don't rush. Don't let the pressure of the situation impact your process of decision making. If it's an easy decision, boom, you're in and out. But if it's one of those with layers or you're not sure, don't rush. Get the play right. It's worse to get it wrong using the monitor than, it's like, please, you have the monitor there. If you rush through it and just didn't do all these protocols, then your coordinator is going to be upset with you. So take your time. Better to take a little bit longer time, get it right, than to rush and be incorrect. That one, indisputable evidence or whatever call you reported that you guys discussed. And that's why it's so important that you do get together before you go to that monitor and say, guys, if this thing doesn't work or we don't find indisputable evidence, what is our call on the floor? And it may be different than that original call. Get together, discuss all options. And I don't care if you're the second-year official working with a 35-year official. You have information, you render it. Don't go to sleep that night with, gosh, I could have helped. I could have gotten, them the information, but I was afraid because they're so much more veteran than I assure you, the veterans just want to get the play right. So whatever you got. umpire, while the ref's reviewing the play, one other official, whatever. Also, if you have a critical play, get all three involved in it. Let all three see it. Now, if it's an out of bounds play that's self-evident or score, no score, we don't need to delay the process. Again, pace of play is a point of emphasis with everyone. So if the information is there on the first angle, you're done. Don't ask for 7 more. You know, I think a lot of people go through the whole process just because they think they have to. No. And I assure you, there may be some partners who aren't happy that you didn't bring him in to see the angle, but it doesn't matter. It's not her job to make our partners happy out there. Remember our prioritization. The game is first. The game is first. So whatever we need to service the game efficiently, we're done. I've actually had a partner cuss me out in a regional final game because I didn't let her see the out of bounds play. And I just laughed. I was like, oh, okay, we're moving on. You know, it actually was quite funny because it was a second round game and I ended up working with him in a regional. And it was really quite funny. It came out now. But I get we're all feisty out there sometimes. But make the decision after consulting all necessary resources. Referee, I'm telling you what, sometimes you might have just not sure what everyone wants to do. You've got to make the decision and just say, I'll take responsibility. Also, when you're talking, don't forget, include how are we going to resume this play? Don't forget that aspect of it. Sometimes it's easier to work backwards. Resumption of play back to the decision you need to make. Once a decision reached, ref should reconvene both partners and share the decision. And here it is, last chance to speak. Or forever hold your peace. Don't come into the locker room and go, well, I knew that. That won't go over well. I'll tell you that right now. Say it out there, whatever you got. All right, here's the thing. Communicating the decision. Coaches have to be informed of the decision when it's intentional, disqualifying, the 2-minute review if it includes the RA LDB. You know, we've got to tell them that. The referee then informs the table crew and the PA. Sometimes we forget that part. We get to the coaches and we never told the table what we were doing or the book. So make sure we don't skip that. One of the officials also will inform TV talent if you're on a TV game. If you've got a decision to cancel a goal or out of bounds or changing a 2 to 3, timing issues, whether or not the game's over, you don't have to bring coaches together. Don't bring them together. Just boom, at the table, we're done. And the lead official, the crew chief, will signal, all those types of things. Okay. I am not a proponent of bringing coaches together at all. I think it creates issues a lot of times. Now, if it's something that's real easy, you're not going to antagonize or you're recording this, right, Jen? You're not going to piss anybody off. Fine, bring them together. But otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Okay. The option exists. Communicate each decision separately. Ref and one umpire visits one coach and they go down and visit the other coach. Why? That referee is going to say the exact same thing to both coaches. The umpire is there to listen, and that's it. Umpire, you do not need to speak unless the referee asks you to speak. The other umpire is going to be very succinct and going over to the TV talent. Okay. I put that in there. If overtime's to be played, don't leave. You laugh. It's happened. Has anybody ever run off the floor when it was, tied and you're supposed to play overtime? It happened in the 1992 Final Four semifinal game. And Don Staley was chasing the official, yelling, "It's not over." Don was playing for Virginia at that time. So don't do that. Here's my mantra. Kevin loves this one. In the pregame, you will hear me every time we do a pregame, and I do a pregame every game. I really do. I'm not just saying that. My mantra always is, know when you may and when you shall, and if you may, you shall. Yeah. If you have doubt and you may, you shall. Okay? If you don't have doubt, don't go there. I should have put if you have doubt. I missed that part. I was doing my mantra today and I missed that part. And if you have doubt and you may, you shall. I'm going to amend that. Okay, so know when you may and when you shall. Don't be smarter than the system. So your mays are here. Free throws. Who's shooting? How many free throws? Did we let the wrong player shoot? I love this one. Has anybody allowed the player to shoot at the wrong basket? Thanks, Janine. I'm glad you said no. It's like, God, it's in our rule book, but no, I've never had, I mean, I'm going into year 38 of officiating. I've never shot the free throw at the wrong basket. So I hope it doesn't happen this year. Scoring. You may go to see the 2 versus 3 to prevent or rectifying a scoring mistake, erroneously counting, canceling. Was the successful try released before the shot clock expired? And there again, if you have any doubt, and I've learned this the hard way, I really have. We're like, oh, that, and I'm telling you what, there is a time lag between 0 coming up on that shot clock and the horn going off. It takes time for that horn to get to your ear, because there are times you think it's not even close, that shot easily was scored before that horn went off. And then you go look at it, and guess what? It's a whole lot closer. Or you wait to go look at it in the locker room and you go, damn, I can't believe we didn't look at that. I've done it. And of course, it ended up being a 2-point game. And I had to call Patty and say, mea culpa. And that is our fault. We didn't have any doubt. And there were 3 veteran officials on that game. No mistake. I mean, no excuse whatsoever. But it was the horn just took longer. We didn't have any doubt, but it clearly didn't show up on the video. And shame on us. We did not go and use the tool. So you may go. And if it's close with the shot clock going off, I'm telling you, go every gosh darn time. Okay. I know I do. I'm not doing it again. Shame on me. We let it happen once, but the timing, starting and stopping the clock, make certain it's correctable. Again, you have all those little test questions you're going through next week. Game clock malfunction is different than user error. That's one of your questions on the test. I know all 125. I've read them way too many times. And does the clock stop on your whistle? So if you have doubt on that, go and use the monitor. Or if you have definite information, don't use the monitor. Don't go there just as a crutch. Don't use the monitor as a crutch. Use it as an available tool. Just like we use technical fouls. Technical fouls are not anything other than a tool. Fouls. If you have something in your gut that goes, yeah, should we maybe upgrade it? What do you think? If that's going off in your gut, go look at it. Go look at it. Don't be smarter than the system. It'll take you no time whatsoever. When you look at it one time and go, boop, no. And you've got to also know your crew. If I'm your crew chief, make sure I look at it at least twice or whatever. Because a lot of times I'll go over and go, no, it's easy. And people go, whoa, you made this decision. We didn't even see it yet. I said, yeah, I know. Because I already had it set in my head. So know your partners. And I'm always telling people that, especially when I work with them the first time, I said, I'm allowed to drink caffeine only like one time in my life. And that's every time before a game. No, every game I work, that's the only time I'm allowed to drink caffeine. None of my friends let me drink caffeine any other way, because as you can see, I run naturally, but I do drink caffeine before a game. So I get even quicker. So if you're working with me, we have monitor review, slow me down. And I tell people that in the locker room right away, as with the, if you may, you shall, and if we have doubt, we may, we shall. Okay. So slow me down. We didn't see potential intentional disqualifying. And there are times too. I remember, again, Brittany Griner was playing. So it was Baylor a few years ago. It was at UConn with Stephanie Dolson. UConn was on a fast break. I was the trail official, and peripherally, I saw Dolson and Griner do something. And I wasn't sure what it was, but and I was not going to blow my whistle at that point. I let Connecticut finish their fast break, and I immediately killed it and said, we're coming back and looking at that. Because I knew by rule, it was one of those situations, unobserved, intentional, or flagrant probably at that time, depending on what nomenclature we were using that particular year. But I knew by rule, I was allowed to come back and look at that. And I was not going to stop a fast break. Having the semblance of mind how to manage that game efficiently without getting that little Italian man into the middle of the floor is advisable, knowing that situation. Because if I would have stopped that fast break, there would have been a little Italian man and we would have had a technical foul on top of everything else we had. So we did go back and ended up calling an intentional foul on Griner for a basic, kind of a chicken wing elbow into the side of Dolson in transition. So we knew we could go back and look at that. But again, we were like, how are we going to resume play? Point of interruption, after the free throw, after the good basket, whatever the case may be. Okay. Okay, the RALDB, you can look at it only for location in the last 2 minutes of the game. Location only. You can't re-referee the play. The other situation with did the player completely fake, you can only look at that if you're looking for a potential upgrade to intentional or disqualifying. You know how the defender will throw their head back like they just got beat and fall on the floor. The only thing you can do, you can assess a technical foul if there's absolutely no contact. No contact. Even if the elbow just kind of grazes, the tip of the tippy tip nose, you can't touch it. But if there's absolutely no contact, then you can assess a technical foul for the referee play. Okay? Those are all kinds of plays you can read in the book and know about that. The violations, the last 2 minutes of the game and the last 2 minutes of overtime, who caused the ball to go out of bounds? And Jen, you sent me one of those plays, and we're going to look at that a little bit, in due time. And again, you have 2 players involved in an out of bounds play, or you have more than one player, 2 opponents involved, 3 opponents involved, whatever the case may be, out of bounds play in the last 2 minutes. Shame on you if you do not go look at it. I'm here to tell you, out of bounds plays can be some of the most ridiculously difficult plays to get correct. You think you saw it clearly on the floor, you go look at it on the replay and you're like, holy smokes, where did that hand come from? Whose finger is that? Who's that? It's like, wow, when did that hit the knee and bounce off? So it's astounding. I still say out of bounds plays that last 2 minutes, go look. Go look. There is no reason to not. I'm telling you, experience tells me you're silly if you don't go look at them. Okay, that's your may page. The shall, you don't have a choice. You got to know if you have a monitor, these are the reasons you must go. Clock, the try is released before zeros. And when you go look at that, you can also see when the ball clears the net. I'm going to show you a play also that, you can see when the ball clears the net to see if the clock is correct. But is the shot good? Was the try released before zeros? Does a shot clock violation occur before zeros on the game clock? You must go for that. Does the foul occur before zeros? You have a foul, and then you hear this, the horn go off. You blow the foul, and then you go, oh, that was awfully close. We're going to go look. Now, here's the situation, too. Know the difference. If I have a foul in the body of the game, you got to love NCAA rules sometimes. I have a foul in the body of the game, and the clock doesn't stop. I am going to put, I can go to the monitor because I've got a timing issue. That's a may. Remember, we're back on that first page. I may go to the monitor for the timing issue. But when I go to that monitor, I'm going to look to see when I called the foul. And it will always be with my right arm. I hope I don't have to raise the left one. I don't know what that's going to do. So I'm going to see when I called that foul. That's the time I put on during the body of the game. When you have triple zeros and you have a foul, you're putting the time on when the foul actually occurred. Okay, not when I blew the whistle. We don't care about human reaction time then. During the body of the game, we do. Zeros, you may put the time back. You're going to put the time back on when the foul actually occurred. And you'll see a play later with that. Fighting, you must go. Any kind of a fight, did a fight occur, and who did what. And make sure, if you can, get those angles looking at the benches. Because you got to count those folks too. How many technical fouls you're going to have. I mean, it doesn't matter how many come off the bench as long as they don't get involved in the altercation. You only have one, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that was the issue with the Tennessee Baylor. They didn't really have the best look at Tennessee's bench. But believe me, the next week, ESPN was sure they had cameras on both benches. So that problem wouldn't exist again. Okay? That's your shall page. All right, you ready for a play? Let's see if it plays. Ah! Any questions yet before we go into the plays? Unmute. I feel like I'm talking to myself. Oh my God. They put me in a chat room last night on a Zoom, and I really was the only person in the chat room. I'm like, well, D, how do you feel? I'm good. How are you? So any questions? Don't leave me hanging.
None yet. None yet.
None yet. We're good. Thanks, Bobby. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And if you know me well, you'll know this isn't water. Okay, guys? Okay. But at least I had enough sense to put it in well, this is a peach belt cup. Yes, I'm a good old-fashioned beer drinker. That's my first one tonight, though. You know, I promise you, I would be honest with you otherwise. All right, here's a play. Let's see if it'll play for you guys. Hopefully it will. Oh, wait, I went back. Hold on. I'm going back. Go back. Go back. All right, here we go. Oh, smokes.
Plenty of time. Willis Ward backs it out. Here's Gray with a leaner. Kind of a wild shot there, and there was a whistle on the play.
All right. Hold on. Here we are. It's the end of the first quarter. Now, this is from Final Four a couple years ago. As you see, it is obviously Mississippi State and South Carolina. Lead official refereeing a play to the basket has a foul.
Here, plenty of time. Willis Ward backs it out. Here's Gray with a leaner. Kind of a
Everybody agree? All right, so let me come back here.
Here's Gray with a leaner. Kind of a wild shot there, and there was a whistle on the play.
Now you're going to watch an example of improper protocol. Okay, you're going to watch an example of improper protocol.
Plenty of time.
I'll let it run the whole way this time.
Here's Gray with a leaner. Kind of a wild shot there, and there was a whistle on the play. This is the right call. I definitely thought the block occurred before the buzzer. Gray going on strong there. We're just about ready for the second quarter. Shredda Johnson.
Okay, so honest to goodness, you saw my hand come up right away because I knew we had a situation that we had a foul at the end of the period. We are going to monitor. So I wanted to bring Tina in to say, we're all in agreement. We've got a foul. But Brenda just was, I mean, you're jacked up. It's a Final Four. It's a national championship game. Brenda just kept going and going to the monitor. I'm like, wait. So Tina and I really didn't have time to really talk about what was going on. And you'll see I'm trying to maintain composure as Brenda kept trying to take the toggle from me. So you just do what you need to do. Don't fight over the toggle. You'll see I'll start laughing here momentarily because she just kept wanting to take it.
First foul as they go to the monitor. Great clock.
Hold on.
Here, plenty of time.
Oh, gosh, darn you. It just, that next play just wants to come on. Hold on. You see why Stephanie Britt runs my Zoom calls on Tuesday nights here in Charlotte.
Plenty of time. Willis Ward backs it out. Here's Gray with a leaner. Kind of a wild shot there, and there was a whistle on the play.
So when we go over there, obviously we're going frame by frame, and we are going to put back the time when the foul actually occurred. And it's the thing, when we're over there, Brenda and I, and we didn't need time to come in on this. Brenda and I are over there and we just went, okay, when's the foul actually occur? What do you think? Here we go. We probably go frame by frame. Right about there. 0.2. Right? So I'm not sure. I think we put 0.2. And okay. Anybody have a problem here? You want to use the banner for your timing of a play? Look at the banner and look at the game clock. The reason I implore you with your text to say, nope, I don't want your banner. Okay, we've got a 0.3 difference right there. That's a whole lot of time. So when we go over there, we're going frame by frame. Now, if that was during the body of the game, why did you do that? Get back here. Sorry, we went to the next play again. It just wants to.
Absolutely. To me, that's a block. Rashonda Johnson sliding in there, but clock is going down sometimes. 5.
Sorry, my nonverbal wasn't good.
She was 1 on 3, 2 on 3, pulled it out and gave Alicia Gray a good look at a drive.
So South Carolina with the 2-point lead.
Let's see what we put up.
Ready to go to the line here as we're set for the second quarter of the national championship game in Dallas.
Did we really stay with 0.5?
Cantor, the lead official, another national championship for D.
You know what's been really good for South Carolina?
Blah, blah, blah. So we stay with 0.5. Interesting. Don't ask me why. I don't know. All right, here's another play. And this is good. This is a play you're not going to see. Any questions on that one? Except why do we go with 0.5 and not 0.2? Obviously, something showed us over there at 0.5.
We do have Jocelyn in the chat. She's asking, at this time, do you also discuss what a play can do for the putback, meaning the difference between a tap and a position for a shot?
We will. I mean, I think most of us know with, like, if we did put, I mean, we put 0.5, we know that's clearly catch and shoot. That's actually catch, dribble, shoot. If it's 0.2, we would know it's adjacent to the basket, tap. But Jocelyn, it's a great question. And it's something that's a great leadership thing that you can do, especially with people who aren't used to monitor reviews and exactly, you know, what you can do with 0.5 versus 0.2 versus, you know, 0.3. In, you know, 0.3 you can't catch either in the NCAA. So that's a great question. Absolutely. Anytime, you know, it's when you have these end of the game situation, I know you guys have all had it, and you get your crew together and you try to anticipate what they're going to do. And you try to position yourself. I mean, if a team's down by 3, I'm the center official and they're inbounding the ball on my side, or, you know, they're, whatever the situation may be, they're inbounding on the other side, and I know they're going to run a screen to the other side. I'm coming up high right away. They've got to shoot a 3. I'm not staying at free throw line extended. Those are things you talk about, you process at that last second of a game, you know, game deciding calls that you're going to anticipate, positioning, what they can do, what kind of play are they going to run? You know, if they're down by 3, who's been their best shooter all game? Who's been their 3-point? All those game situations that make you a better referee on how to manage the game and anticipate that call. So yes, absolutely. Here's a play that's interesting, and it doesn't show up real well. We never got, I mean, you'll see this review, I'm here to tell you guys, took a long time. And you're going, why would it take a long time? It's a 19-point game. I'll tell you why it took a long time, because I couldn't find the angle that I wanted, that a rule supported what I wanted to do. So here's the play. Okay, I'm going to show it to you again. All right, so you're going to look right in there, see where it's incidental. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you what, McCall is calling great rebounding foul, and those two players were our challenge that game. So our attention, I mean, McCall and I are like focused on those two players because they were interesting all game. And we're in a 19-point game. Frustrations are ramping. Oregon State came in as was really obviously sixth in the region. Louisville first in that region. They're playing in Kentucky. So Louisville has a big crowd there. But Oregon State, frustrated at this point, they're down by 19. So McCall and I are focused on those two. Well, you can see on weak side, inadvertently, the two players, just fell, and we've got one falling on top of the other. Then what happens? You probably couldn't see it because it took me about, I'm trying to think which angle. I don't even remember. They finally gave me an angle. But if you can see, the Louisville player on the ground kicks her leg at the Oregon State player very quickly. Let's see if I can get there. I mean, it's all inadvertent. There was no foul on this play. They just got tied up, and the Oregon State kid, Louisville's leg was on top of her head. So she just took it off. And see. Okay, she just took it off. And then the player on the floor for Louisville, can I see it at all? Kicked her leg right there at the Oregon State player. So, like I said, we're in a 19-point game. Prior to, because that would be seen, you could, if somebody kicks at somebody now in our game, like you go to look to see if there's an intentional or disqualifying foul on a play, and there isn't, but there's some kind of other action, a physical misconduct, you may assess a technical foul, right? The rule changed last year. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Like, I'm looking to see if there's a disqualifying foul here, and then I look and I see another one of the teammates going, hey, yeah, really good, clapping in somebody's face. We can now, because we see that, we can now go, well, guess what? I'm over here looking for intentional or disqualifying, but you're being a putz over there. So now I can call a technical foul on you. At this point, this was a couple years ago, we didn't have that rule. So what I went over to that monitor going, I want to penalize that kid on the floor who kicked at the Oregon State kid, because that's not a basketball play. And this game was starting to go south. And I just wanted to figure out some way to penalize that type of behavior. I finally found one angle where the foot grazed barely, maybe the hair follicle on the left arm of the Oregon State player. And I went, bingo, that's what I want. So I called it. Called a flagrant foul on the Louisville player. Communicated that to the coach. And I can't repeat what he said to me, but I just told him to go away. And he goes, fine, I can live with that. What the fuck took you so long? I was like, oh, well, nice, really nice. I said, go away, just go away. I don't need to deal with you right now. And we have an interesting rapport sometimes. So that didn't figure into anything. But I was like, it did take a long time because the rule wouldn't support doing anything with that kick at that time. But now we have a rule change. So I can talk to you about the inception of why we have that rule change. This was a play. And if you're looking for my bangs this year, my bangs are down to here now, so I won't be wearing my hair like that this year, if you're interested, just in case. All right? Here we go. And then there is Jesse and I, and our alternate, Katie Lukanich. And I'm trying to find an angle that shows. So we found that angle. So I'm like, yes. And he goes, you want Nicole? And I said, yep. And he just showed his hand to Jeff Walls, who's like, what's taking so long? So now I'm communicating to Nicole exactly what it want. And you see, I was using Katie too. Use your alternate.
Did Katie see anything in real time?
She did. She saw the kick. She saw the kick. So it was like I said, I couldn't do anything with the kick. We couldn't penalize the kick unless there was physical contact at that time. Now you can.
Mhm.
We didn't have that rule. That was, I don't know how many years ago that was. 3 years ago.
I think that was last
No,
year.
At least 2 years ago. When you referee, as long as I have, the years kind of blend together. I don't know. What year is this? You know? That was at least 2, maybe 3 years ago. I don't remember.
So if you walk over and Katie sees it, she knows that you're coming as the alternate. Can she start cueing DV
Please do.
Sport to get those
Please do.
goals?
God bless you if you are. You know, and that's the thing.
Okay.
A really good and encourage your. It's a great question, Jen. You encourage your DV Sport guy or your tech person over there to say, "Hey, you're gonna know." I mean, I said, "You see a play, you know we're gonna review. Get it queued up. Get it queued up already." You know that 2 versus 3. There's nothing more maddening when we've given the signal that we're coming over there the next time out. Now, don't forget to go during the timeout. I've done that many times. I'm out there chatting, drinking water, and go, oh, geez, we have a 2 versus 3 to review. So somebody remind me. But use those people. You know, if they, tell them, empower them, please get it queued up. It will help so much, making it so much more expeditious when you're over there. Less chance of that Jeopardy music playing for you. So, absolutely. Any other
And then I have one last one for you. So I know
Any,
this
are those
was
really your puppy dogs? They look like, there's 3 of them sleeping back there?
Yep. They
Oh
sleep with
my
us.
gosh, what
And
are they?
They are Great Danes.
They certainly are. I was like, those are big puppy dogs. Sorry, guys. I see, told you I was ADHD. I just saw puppy dogs. I'm like, oh my, I love puppy dogs. So, wow. What's your food bill? Holy smokes. Anyway, I digress. Yes. What was the question?
if you have a pretty good idea of the number of angles you have available to you, can you also walk over? And I know there's some programming that you can just do as well. Can you walk over there and tell your DV Sport person, hey, I want A, I want program A, or I want program E?
You can, but I'm not that good. I usually rely on them. They're the ones sitting over there as experts. Say, guys, I am looking for an angle that shows me exactly where her elbow hit. Can you give me the best angle? And then if that's not it, I said, what about, and so I tell them exactly what I'm looking for and then trust them to show me the best one. And if that one didn't work, then we start going through the process. But I really do. I give them the insight. I'm walking over and going, I want actual time of the foul. As I'm walking over, a lot of times I'm going, I'm looking for when the foul really occurred. I'm looking for, so I try to give him help as I'm walking over, whatever we've got going on to try and make it as smooth as we can. But again, don't feel the pressure of rushing. This review took a long time.
And
But-
I guess what I'm kind of leading to as well is asking if, as officials, obviously some of the people that we have on the call have never used it, and the anxiety lies with how to use the toggle or not ever having anything to do with DV Sport. So by what you just said is if officials know exactly what they're looking for, they can tell the information to the tech or our alternate or both and say, guys, I need you to find this.
Absolutely.
Hands off on the technology.
You can. You may have that. You may have the tech run the toggle for you. There are some conferences who want the crew chief to run the toggle. But you know what? It's no time to be proud. Do what you need to do to get the play right. And if you've got an expert there and just go, okay, which button are we using? You know, whatever it may be, you'll get used to it. The mystique of all that toggle will wear off eventually. But, you know, you're in a pressure situation, use what tools you have. And if they're much more better, yeah, have another sip of that beer. You know, if they're better at it than you are, then use them. And if your U1 is better with the toggle, use them. Whomever is the most talented and get the job done the best, you know, do that. But, you know, the crew chief has to go by protocol with one of the officials, but use whomever. The key is let them know, and they love it too. Your tech will love it if you just go over there and say, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Please give me the angle. I want to see who hit the ball out last, who caused the ball to go out of bounds. I want to see when the shot was released. Do we have a shot clock violation? Don't just walk over there and start using the toggle. There's like sitting there going, why are you here? You know, why are you here? So don't be proud. Get it right. Okay?
Okay.
And you'll get used to it. Any other questions on that? Jen sent me 4 plays. We're about to go through them because I'm just an expert on sharing the screen now. All right. I think. Let me escape out of there. Oh, you know what? I did have, here's your play. I'm sorry. This was an exciting play. Let's look at this one. Here's your play with when the ball clears the net. From current slide. There we go. And we hated to do it, but by rule, you had to. Okay, so now we're coming back to that original question about would you talk about point 2 at the end of the game, what you can do, what we went through a complete diatribe. Mississippi State had a foul to give. I know. I can't imagine the sleepless nights Vic had. But Mississippi State had a foul to give. So the 3 of us got together and we said, so Mississippi State has a foul to give. They're going to let Notre Dame get the ball in and they're going to foul immediately. See, goes to show what we knew. They let her shoot the ball. And you see how well that worked out. And you'll see we didn't want, and you know, and I told Joey, I said, Joey, don't let anybody leave the floor. Because we had to go over to the monitor and we did not want to put point 1 back on, but by rule we had to. You can see that ball is clearing the net at point 1. We had no choice. I turned back around, Mississippi State was gone. I said, oh goodness. It broke my heart to have them have to come back on the floor. But you can't set aside a rule. You cannot set aside a rule. Something crazy could have happened. Somebody, you know, did something insanely stupid, and we still had 0.1 left in the game. We didn't want to do it, but we had to. But don't let the teams leave the floor when the game is not completely over, ever. We learned that. But yeah, how about that? So all that talk we did at the timeout of expect them to take a foul, let them get the ball in, that's how much we knew. And if you see this play, you'll see I never did get my hands up to count to 3.
Ogunbowale for the win.
Yeah, try to keep him off the floor. Good luck on that one. Now let's go to Jen's place. All right. Good luck keeping him off the floor in that one. One of the Notre Dame's assistants almost chest bumped me as I went over there and said, you got to get him back on the, to the bench. We got to look at this. So I almost got chest bumped. Okay, now here we go. Thank you, Jen, for sending these.
You're welcome.
The clock to 1.5. They did grant the timeout before the ball is put to the floor. So the Rangers have the ball in the front court after they advance. Cabrera Senior will inbound the basketball. Into Nelson. She turns, fires, and it's good! And the Rangers win at the buzzer.
Anybody want to walk through this review for me? I'm tired of hearing myself talk. First of all, do you have to review it?
Let's go, Jocelyn. Why don't you talk?
I like it, Kevin. Choose somebody.
Yeah.
Yes,
Jocelyn, you just volunteered.
yes, you do have to review it.
Mm-hmm. That's a shall.
Can we start it from the beginning?
I can. I can do anything you want me to do. I'm your tech. All right.
The screen, D, can you enlarge it?
All right, hold on. I don't want the pic. Let me get rid of you guys over here.
The clock to 1.5.
Ah, there we go.
They
there we
did
go.
grant the timeout before the ball is put to the floor.
All right, what else, Jocelyn? Here I am, your tech. You want me to just go?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So the Rangers have the ball in the front court after the advance. Cabrera Senior will inbound the basketball. Into Nelson. She turns, fires, and it's good! And the Rangers win at the buzzer.
So
All right.
while I'm reviewing it with, let's say, my U1, I would definitely want to make sure the ball was released before this. Like right now we have audio, so we're able to hear the horn.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
That's good.
what I have.
I'm going to go back one more thing, though. I'm
Okay.
going to, first of all, make sure that clock started on time.
Okay.
Okay. Because there are some times, you know, you've got a home timer here. They may not start it right away.
Okay.
So make sure the clock starts on the touch. And I looked at this. It was tough to see. I think they did. But yeah, you want to go back and make sure the clock starts properly. And then the rest is pretty easy, I think.
And it's a valid point because in this game, they did not start the clock 3 times.
So, hey, there's another thing you're going to talk about during that last time out. You know, obviously it sounds like, even listening to the audio, was this the play where they're allowed to advance? You allowed them to advance because you called the timeout before they dribbled. Because I always love that conversation too.
Well, so it was a controversial play on the other end where Northern Michigan, there was a inbound pass, deflection, retained team control. Then they lost team control, but right before they lost it, the coach is calling a timeout.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the placement of the ball, the only official that could have seen the timeout was the farthest official away. So it was a question the home coach for Parkside actually asked, how can you call a timeout when there's no possession of the ball? So that was all before this 1.5.
Lovely. So then we end up with, now whose home court is this? Who are the
This is
Rangers?
Parkside, they are the white jerseys, so they are shooting.
Woo. Okay. Yeah, I heard that. So that's, yeah. So obviously if you've had clock issues during the game, it's just going to attenuate your focus on, does it start properly here?
Up to 1.5. They did
All right.
grant the timeout before the ball is put to the floor. So the Rangers
Jocelyn,
have the
where
ball
are you?
in the
You
front
don't
court
think you're off the hook
after
yet.
the
Okay.
advance.
Okay.
Cabrera Senior will inbound the basketball. Into Nelson. She turns, fires, and
Okay. Good. Anything else?
So with this, since obviously there's no clock above the scoreboard for us to use, or the backboard, and then there's no other clock for me to see, will we have to go with the ribbon?
As far as time goes, yes. Now, obviously, fortunately, they have the LED lights. You can always use those as to whether or not you're going to count the basket.
Okay.
So, but yeah, as far as clock goes, if that's the only one they're going to give you, you have no choice. But it looks like no issue with the ball clearing the net. You're not going to put any time back on. Those are things you're going to look at on this play. Does the clock start on time? Obviously, she releases it in due time. And then is there any time left to put back on after it clears the net? And I think this was all done correctly. Agree?
Agreed.
Yay, crew. And this guy here is really happy. Okay. He's showing the kickball mechanic, although he's not pointing to his finger. I mean, pointing to his foot. So yeah, he's a happy guy. But yes, that's an exciting finish. Good.
And we also looked just to make sure that it was a 3 and not a 2.
Yeah, that's
As I think.
statistically, I mean, they'd win
Yeah.
regardless. Okay.
Correct.
So let's go back there.
The Rangers have the ball in the front court after the advance.
So who uses this court?
It's a Division II Parkside.
Braracino
Okay.
will inbound the basketball. Into Nelson.
Yeah, clearly. Not even
Yep.
close.
Mhm.
Not even close. Yeah, can look at all those things. Positioning looks good. Yeah,
Turns,
we're good.
fires, and it's good! And the Rangers win at the buzzer.
That trail was a little deep on that play, but okay, we're good. All right, good. Jocelyn, good job. You're off the hook.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, next one, Kev. Who are you gonna pick? Hold on, let's go to the next one.
2 points herself to return. Maddie Glennon in the corner for 3 herself. Just short, no.
Everybody see the time? Kevin, who's your subject now?
Stacy.
Stacy? We haven't talked to Stacy before. Where's Stacy?
No, I'm here, but I was eating. I've been eating the whole time.
Oh,
I'm multitasking.
Stacy, have I had dinner yet? No.
No, but you got,
I'm an hour later than you, but you go ahead and eat. Don't let me stop you.
oh, but I'm jealous. You got your drink on. I don't have that yet.
Oh, it's just one little beer. It was, So, Stacy, what is your last name? Holy smokerinos.
I know it's 11 letters. It's obnoxious. So the J is silent. It's very easy. It's Makrowski.
Okay, I didn't see the ski part. I assume that was, I got ... here on the screen. So, all right. All right. So, are you done masticating? That would be chewing.
All right. Well, I'll get the seeds out of my teeth. That's why I don't have the video on as well. So
Are they chia seeds, pumpkin seeds? Thank you, Bobby.
and sunflower seeds and hemp seeds.
What kind of seeds?
Hemp seeds, sunflower seeds, chia seeds, all the above.
All right. That sounds like my kind of food, actually.
Yeah, it was a good salad.
Good. All right. So you got this play.
All right, you're gonna
I don't care.
you're gonna have to play it again because I was
I'm backing it up already.
Mhm.
Too many crickets. All right. So demanding. Here we go. All
2
right.
points herself.
It's an out of bounds play.
To
Just
return.
out of bounds.
Maddie Glennon in the corner for 3 herself. Just short, no good. And it's going to be ram ball as it goes out of bounds.
What do you think, Stace?
so it kind of skipped a little, but I mean we're under the 2
It
minutes
did?
fourth
No.
quarter.
Okay, Makrowski, here we go. I'm coming back. But what do you think? I mean, even
Just short, no good.
all right,
And
we
it's
got
gonna
a
be ram
time. It's
ball as it goes out of
128.
bounds.
I know it's a 12-point game. What are you gonna do?
Well, I mean you got to get it right. So what is he holding? I'm trying to see.
What would you do in that play?
So she shot and then
Points herself
Yeah.
to return.
So White shoots the ball,
Maddie Glennon in the corner for 3 herself.
did a three.
Rebound
Just
comes
short,
off.
no good.
and it goes out of bounds, and he gave the ball to black or blue or whatever color that is.
Yep,
With
yep.
128 left in the game.
So I mean, I
Are
guess
we-
what's
Go ahead.
So I mean, yeah, we're under the 2 minutes at the last,
Mhm.
fourth quarter. So what's the question? Is it they don't know who it's out of bounds on? Or
Oh,
what-
they think they know. They already pointed. What would you do?
as as the lead or as a partner?
As anything. Yeah, we're all in this together. The three of us, Kevin, you and I, since Kevin put you on the spot, Kevin, you and I are working this game. And that ball went out of bounds at 128. And Kevin and I are like, oh, I can't wait to get that beer. The heck with this. What are you going to do?
I mean, we can definitely go to the monitor for sure.
Yeah, you better go to the monitor because guess what? This coach of the white team is now pissed off at you.
Right, because they want it to
Why?
be
Why
their
put
ball.
yourself
Yeah.
in that position? Why put yourself in that, and it may be the quickest review ever. It really might be the quickest review ever. I mean, you might have clearly seen that White hit the ball out, but take a minute. And here's where you're more intangible game management, connecting with people, understanding frustrations, what's going to elevate you to the next level of your game type of things come in. Don't be obnoxious and say, I clearly saw it. Just go.
Well, and the optics of it looks better. Like you took it into consideration, to the coach because of the score and it's the last,
Exactly.
minute and a half, for sure.
What is she going to say? I mean, she's going to, Grex and moan and whatever. You're going to, if you just take a minute, go over there, look at the review, maybe come out with the exact same call, which it looked like. I tried to slow it down. It looks like, the white team clearly does hit it out, but take a moment. That's where you are now playing. Like you said, the optics are better. You are appeasing a coach. Okay, fine. You did. You appeased the coach. And guess what? They're going to remember it the next time you saw them, that they see you. They're going to go, you know what? They were good to me. This isn't a one-off game type of career here, guys. You are seeding the field for how they're going to perceive you the next time they see you. Don't be smarter than they are. Don't be smarter than the system. Be smart about when you can go, feel their frustrations, ameliorate the frustrations, calm them down, whatever it takes. Connect yourself. This is going to be the difference in your game. I did a presentation a few years ago. Kevin probably remembers. I called it OIL: observation, intuition, and logic. Intuition is a huge part of your success on this floor. Be intuitive. Know that coach will be settled down if you go over. Take 1 second. It's going to take you probably 5 seconds to look at that out of bounds play and go, yep, it's off white. Don't do the na-na-na boo-boo dance. Just do it. Get it right. You've calmed her down. Your game goes much better. She writes a better review of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's real live officiating. It's all those things are part of your career. If you think what coaches say don't impact your career, holy smokerinos, we got to talk.
Yeah.
But good. Stacy, absolutely. Go. Like I said, there are two bodies there. They both had their arm up for the rebound. You never know. The black uniform player might have gotten a little tip of a finger in there. You don't know. I'm telling you, you think you saw it clearly, and then you go to the monitor and you go, holy shoo, look at that. So go. Okay, now you can use your floss and get those seeds out of your teeth. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Days. All right, next play. Where are we? Potential upgrade shot clock. Let's see. What is this one, Jen?
Not timeout. It's me, Lake Forest ball.
All right, Kevin, who's on hot seat?
Colin, my man.
Where's Colin? Let me find him. Hopefully he doesn't have
Alrighty.
seeds in his teeth and I can see him. Where is he? Stacy, I'm really funny. Can't you tell? Where's Colin? Once he talks, I should be able to
Can
find
you
him.
see me now that I'm talking? Do I pop up?
Where are you? There you are. Hi, Colin. All right, you're
Hello.
on. All right, let's see what we got on this play.
To start out, Lake Forest Foresters up by 10 points here, a minute and 8 seconds left. We have a quick foul on number 10, Visser of the Rams. Looks like they're just trying to stop the clock. One more foul by the Rams, and
That's your play. You want to see it again? Okay, hold on. There's a little bit more
yeah,
there.
let's go again.
They're going to be sending the Foresters to the line to shoot.
Okay, all right. I'll go back to the beginning. Jen, is that you on this game?
It is.
I thought so.
I'm out. It's going to be Lake Forest ball to start out.
Jen's about to get some feedback.
Happily.
Lake Forest Foresters up by 10 points here, minute and 8 seconds left. We have a quick foul on number 10,
Okay.
Visser of the Rams.
Okay.
So they're just trying to stop the
I'll
clock.
let it run to the end here again.
One more foul by the Rams, and they're going to be sending the Foresters to the line to shoot.
Okay. Colin, as you look at this play, tell me what you think.
Doesn't look like much. However, shot clock here, we should have stayed at 23 on the shot
Which is
clock.
what they're correcting right now. Okay, let's just let's go back to the foul itself.
Okay.
Would you go to review this? And if you did, what would be your trigger? Meaning, what would be the reason you would go to the monitor?
Out. Lake Forest Foresters up by 10 points here, minute.
How about that foul?
She ends up in a bit of a funky position for what getting hit while dribbling would normally be, quote unquote.
Okay, so imagine you are the trail official. You call this foul. What goes on in your head at this point?
Probably gonna have a gut instinct that that looked a little weird. We have a monitor available to us. We may go to the monitor to look at that, so we shall.
What are
go
we
over
looking
and
for
take a
when we go to
peek.
the monitor? Why would I bring my
potential-
officials together?
Potential upgrade, not a play on the ball.
Yes, thank you. It's like pulling teeth out of you. Come on, here we go. I'm kidding. Yes, absolutely. That's what you're looking for. I mean, there are, is that defender playing the ball? Is that a legitimate basketball play? Or is she just trying to stop the clock? Things like that. So good. Would you talk to your partners about it?
I would have all three come over. First of all, hey, we have a common foul on the floor. And then I go over, and in this case, I'd take C over first if I'm the calling official, just because he's got a good view of that. And then bring the third official in to take a look, come out from the monitor, confer. If we're going to go with an intentional, then we will award 2 free throws to any player from the white team.
Good.
Reset to 30 seconds and go division line opposite.
Excellent. Yes, I think mechanically, first of all, if I have question as to whether or not they're playing the ball, I'm going to look at it. You have a look and you get used to, and when you get used to working with officials and whatever, I would just be like, I'd look at my partners and go, anybody have anything? Did and you've talked about that in pregame. If you see something, if there's a push from the back, I'm busting ahead on a fast break and all of a sudden that player becomes a projectile. Her pace got accelerated. Does somebody have a push from behind? Is there something here? And you can see her pace got accelerated. Her pace got accelerated. Now,
Yep.
I can't see what the left hand is doing, if it's reaching for the ball or if she just pushes from behind. If there's not a legitimate play on the ball, by rule, we really should go intentional on this. So, but I would be looking at my lead. Do you have anything, just a real quick look, guys? Somebody, any antennae going up here? Anything going up?
Yep.
Like, we need to look at this. And then if your gut's going off, just go, hey guys, I really just want to look at this real quickly. And just get the teams to their benches, we'll take a quick minute. We're looking to see a possible upgrade. Okay. Also, Jen, tell me your mechanic here.
And 8 seconds left. We
Called
have a
a
quick
foul?
foul.
Push?
Uh,
What is that?
Push.
I know, but
Bonus,
you did
bonus
push,
shots,
and
2 shots.
It looks like you're showing 2 shots to me.
Looks like it, yeah.
I told you she's going to have a learning experience. We all have. And that's why we look at
Great.
film. I don't care if you've been refereeing as long as I have with Methuselah, or it's your first year. You look at film because you go, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Doing that, putting two fingers up as we're in bonus, is going to plummet your credibility. Okay? It's going to say you lost focus at the end of the game. It's a 12-point game. You're losing focus. And I'm sure you didn't, but that's what it looks like. It would drive me crazy when I was WNBA supervisor, and if any of the officials in a game went to administer free throws when we weren't in penalty, as we say it, not as the NCAA said it, it drove me nuts, because these are the things that help your credibility. These are the things you can control. Knowing exactly what's going on in that game. How many fouls do we have to give? How many team fouls does this team have? How many team fouls have? How many personal fouls do high impact players have? And I don't care. You can have people be pure about black and white, a foul, but no, it's not. I hate to tell you. And that's for another discussion that Kevin invites me back to have pizza with you guys. But you have to know what's going on. Do not show 2 free throws when you're not in bonus yet. It says, I lost my focus. So keep that focus, keep talking to yourself all the way to the end of the game. We're all going to do it. I promise you, I'll do it again, but try not to. That's the thing. I looked at it today and went, Jennifer Washoe, look at you showing 2 free throws when it's not in bonus. So yes. And your partners are going to get confused too. All right, Colin, you're not off the hook yet.
Visser of the Rams.
So yeah.
Just trying.
So some communication there, Jen, as you're walking by to say, anybody want to go upgrade on this? Did they go for the ball, whatever? And then it wouldn't hurt to take a look at it if you're not sure. Or if you're sure she just shoved her from behind. If you are sure on the court, it's unmitigated, it's clear, it's evident. Boom, go up with it. If it's that clear. Otherwise, use your monitor. Okay? And a lot of you guys don't have monitors, so guess what? You still have to remember how to referee. You can't use the crutch that we all do sometimes. You know, I'm old school. We didn't have a monitor forever. We had VHS tapes. We had no tape, and then we had VHS.
Trying to stop the clock.
And then good clock awareness. Your partner came to you and said 23 should be on the shot clock, not 30. So that was good crewing there. Anything else, Colin? I think you did well. You're off the hot seat.
One more foul by the Rams.
See, right
Sounds
there,
good.
changing
Sending
the
the
shot
forces
clock.
to the line to shoot.
But think about this, Jan, how good you would have been had you just gone, boom, nope, I got a common foul, ball out. By the way, 23 on the shot clock. Like bing, 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 bing. I got this. All that does is take your credibility, boom, up. Everybody goes, oh, don't play with her. She's got it. She's in control. She's got it, you know, everything under control. Those things help elevate how people perceive you. Yeah, they know you're on top of it. And we all have, and so then when you do have the brain cramp, they go, it's okay. We know you're pretty good usually. So set that stage. I'm done chatting at Jen now. I love that she sent me that play. I was like,
I
oh,
appreciate it.
you're welcome. All right, last one. And because I know you guys need to, some of you haven't eaten, although Stacy did. We know that. I'm kidding. I'm funny, aren't I? Okay, last play. Ooh, that's really little. Hold on. Okay.
Here is Arnold.
Hold on. Stop. Pause.
Wait, we're going with Steph.
Steph, where's Steph? Come on, Colin. Thank you. Good job.
I'm right here.
There she is.
Oh, there's Stacy. Hi. I see you now. Where's Steph? Where is she?
I'm right here.
Okay, listen, hold on. I gotta find you. Oh, there you are. You sounded really enthusiastic too.
Sorry.
That's all right. If you haven't figured out yet, I'm a real smart aleck. So that's one of the things when I first started officiating, I had to curb, readily. Because I told players one time, they just looked at me, I think I was in my first year of officiating D1, and they went, ref, how could you call that? And I said, well, I made it up. They didn't understand sarcasm. They went running so quickly to their coach. So yeah, I had to learn how to curb that. That doesn't work. So Steph, you're on. Here's your play. I'm going to roll it back for you. Oh, geez. So it went small on me. Not really small. Go big. That's as big as it gets, but here we go. Oh, there we go. Good.
Here is Arnold. Hands it off for Reese. Or Reese to be specific. Pass is intercepted away. Kirkwick trying to go on the other end.
Ow.
Big collision on the other end is.
All right. There's your play. Where'd she go now? I lost her. Kevin's gone to eat now too. Okay. Are you going to the monitor? And if you are, why are you going? Steph?
I'm here. I'm here.
I see you.
I don't know that I'd go on contact. I think I'd go on timing to make sure that the possession and the shot clock changed correctly. But while I was there, I guess I would check out the contact anyways.
Okay. Let's look at this
Here's
again.
Arnold. Hands it off for Reese. Or Reese to be specific. Pass is intercepted away. Kirkwick trying to go on the other end. Big collision on the other end is.
I think that collision is big enough. I mean, it's kind of skippy. I try to watch this on my phone, but it may be a big enough crash to go in it within itself.
Okay. Let's
Here is
see.
Arnold.
I'll try not to make it skippy. Is it's
Hands it off for Reese. Or Reese to be specific.
I like
Pass is
Peter
intercepted
Pan
away.
better.
Kirkwick trying to go on the other end. Big collision on the other end is.
Okay. Any harm in going?
No. And also looking at this on my phone, I think I looked to make sure that the clock, it's hard to see, the clock stopped. Because on the ribbon, I know you don't look at that, but it's a minute
It could be
55.
all you have. Yeah.
And I think on the scoreboard behind it, it's a minute 50.
Is it really? Okay.
If I can see that correctly.
The first impetus for going to the monitor though would be
The collision or the contact.
absolutely.
Yep.
Anything when it is that kinetic, that much intensity, and you've got somebody holding their head and somebody's like holding it. There is, because when you look, like Colin was referring to, when you look in your Appendix 3, Section 4, it says the guidelines for officiating intentional and disqualifying fouls. And it took us a number of years to actually get that in the NCAA rulebook. That emanated from the NBA, WNBA rulebook that we had for years. And it was very helpful going through the checklist of why you would go, why would you upgrade, potential for injury, result of the contact. How did it resolve itself? Did a fight break out after, that type of contact? Were they injured? Things like that. You go through that whole checklist in your head and you look at this play and you see players holding their heads and it was kinetic. I'd go. And if it was just, and there are times that it's nothing but a phenomenal block shot that just took them down or whatever. Again, it's an easy review then. You don't go with that kind of collision and contact and people will be like, why? Why didn't you just look at it? You still may come out. It looks like a pretty good basketball play, actually. But I can't really see here. But I would be encouraged to go based on that. Everybody agree or anybody think differently? Colin, I see you nod. Good. But yeah, that would be, I think the incentive for me to go would be first to look at that collision and then secondarily, yeah, it looks like 150. Look at that, a 5-second difference. Now that's crazy. Is those kind of clocks you guys have? Holy smokes. Yeah, that's crazy. A 5-second difference is kind of ridiculous. But yes, the impetus definitely would be, this would be a May, and I'm going to see if it's an upgrade. Agree?
Mhm.
Okay,
Agreed.
agreed. All right. I'm losing you guys. I'm done. That's all I have as far as plays go, as far as hearing myself talk, but thanks for your participation. What questions do you have? And it's fair game. It doesn't even have to be about the monitor. Since I'm
Hey, D, it's Dave.
crashing
Hey,
your Chicago party. Yes.
Hey, D, it's Dave. I think you made a good point. You know, if you may or you shall, why not? You know, if you may, why not? What do you got to lose? You know, it's an extra resource. Just go for it, right?
Absolutely. There is no reason to not go. Hi, Dave. Although I don't see you. Um,
I apologize. I'm driving.
no, please, you're good. Don't be smarter than the system. They have given you this tool. You have a monitor. First of all, don't be afraid of the monitor. Second of all, don't use the monitor as a crutch. Still referee the play, because inevitably you're going to go over there sometimes and it's not going to work. And then you're SOL. So don't rely on it as a crutch. Use it as a tool, but don't hesitate to use it when you have the legitimacy to do so. Don't be smarter than that system. It will not bode well when your coordinator calls you and goes, why didn't you go? You had the opportunity to get it right. Go. Like I said, we've learned the hard way. What else? Anybody else? Frank, with your beanie on there, is it cold in your house? I like it.
Yeah, we'll turn the heat on.
I'm a mess. I can't help it. Guys, come on. You got to have fun. You know? What else? Any other questions? Come on, you got me.
I had a question on that first play with the last second shot, and we were saying on whether or not the clock was started on time.
Okay.
Is that a situation where you can bring the stopwatch in and see how long it is, or is that something you go back? Because we could see the light and hear the horn, I believe.
Absolutely, Steph. Because if that clock didn't start on time, you have to start. You have to time the play, and you're going to use the stopwatch, looking really good. But don't forget to use, if you have DV Sport, their stopwatch. They can time that play very accurately, better than I can run a stopwatch. And I ran track for 20 years. I was pretty good at splits. But when you get like, you know, little times like that, use the DV Sport stopwatch as a backup. But yes, if it didn't start on time, you're going to have to use the stopwatch. There's no other way to get that accurate time. And then you would start the play from when she receives it to when she releases the shot to see whatever we started with, 1.5. Does all that transpire within 1.5? If it does not, we're signaling no go. Yep, shot's no good. So you're going to time it from start to done in that 1.5. If they really did start it late, don't try to start from the window. They didn't, you know, they didn't start till she touches it. Time the whole play, and can it happen within 1.5?
Okay,
make sense.
Yep, thank you.
Great question. No, that's a great question. I hate to bring out the monitor. I mean, I hate to bring out the stopwatch. I had a game one time, honest to God, I remember it, Baylor, Oklahoma. They kept stealing the ball. They got confused that they didn't realize they were supposed to pass the ball to somebody with the same color uniform on. So they would pass it to that player and they passed it to that player. We were doing suicides. And apparently the clock stopped sometime in that process. And it was stopped for 55 seconds. That's a long time. But we were going back and forth, and finally, you know, you hear Malky going, the clock stopped, the clock stopped. And we're like, well, I guess it did. And I went there, and I had a producer that I remember him very well. His name was Wave. See, that's when you know you're friends with the producer. I still remember his name, Wave, and he was at Texas. Oh, no, it wasn't Texas. He was from Austin, but he was doing this game. And I asked him, I said, Wave, just time this for him. And he said, 55 seconds. I went, oh, I'm mortified. Just put the time back, you know, take that time off and let's go quickly. But it happens. Any other questions? Fair game.
Any questions, guys, gals?
I got one. So you have as you mentioned, like monitor is situated closer to one team than the other team. And you're the umpire or the other official that's standing there while the other two are at the monitor. And this coach is like, hey, you should be looking at this or this or this, or kind of like giving it to you, but not enough to like warrant a warning or a technical, but you're still like, we're going to look at it, like, just relax. What are strategies to get them to like turn around and go deal with their team while we're still doing our stuff?
Colin, it depends on your relationship with that coach. You know, if it's strictly by the book professional, then just go, coach, you need to go back beyond your 28, please. I can't have you looking at this. You know, you have to implore, you know, just state the rule, depending on, you know, that's the kind of relationship you have. I mean, I remember last year I had a coach who kept looking and I tried to block it, you know, and we've gone back many, many years. And they went, really? Your skinny little ass can't block anything. I said, come on. You know, it's like, stop, get out of here. So it's like, they know they're not supposed to be there. They know there's it. So depending on, use humor if you need to, whatever, you know, put your body in front, you know, depending on how you can do it. It's okay to be a human being out there and have some fun on occasion. But if it's a strictly, and there are some coaches, I would just go, please, you've got to get inside the 28. I can't have you looking at this. I appreciate that. But if you can have some fun with it too sometimes, because yeah, at Duke, ironically, it's right next to the home team, right there. You know, you can't hide the monitor. They just spin and they look, even with inside their 28-foot mark. It's almost in their bench area. Wonder how that happened. So yeah. You know, and then you have coaches while you're looking at score, no score at the end of the first half, who as they walk by, they stop and look over your shoulder. So make sure one of the officials are like not letting them do that. Yeah, you have some fun with it if you can. But yeah, don't be afraid to use your personality to communicate with these coaches. I've said it many times, and Kevin's heard me say it, and Dr. Keena has heard me say it. You're allowed to be people out there. And you're allowed to have a personality. Something I see a lot of times at camps, I see a lot of officials out there just so robotic. You can have a personality, and you're actually allowed to show some emotions and laugh when it's appropriate. Make sure it's appropriate. That's all I'm saying. You know, read it well. But depending on what kind of rapport you have with that coach, use whatever tools you can to make sure, just get them back, whatever you need to do. Good. Anybody else?
Okay, D.
Yes, sir.
Because we have a lot of younger officials on this call.
I'm glad. We need them.
What advice would you give them? What advice would you give them to tackle this season and to help them to be a career official if that's their desire? If they want to be the next D. Cantor, what advice would you give them right now to help them have some longevity in this business?
First of all, be the next you, not me. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Hold on, I gotta say hi to Janine real quickly before she leaves. It's like, you know, that's it. We'll do this, the initial. You know, first of all, I never planned on being a referee. This was purely an avocational pursuit. When I started my first year refereeing was 1982, my senior year in college, because I had no money. Spent it all on shoes and beer. And I always said nothing's really changed except I buy better shoes and better beer. And I was really blessed that in 1984, when I moved to North Carolina for my real life engineering job at that time, that they didn't have any women officials in the Southern Conference. And I did not know, like, it was a big deal to get picked up in the Southern Conference. It's a Division I conference. So I was 24 years old working in the Southern Conference. And, you know, I really just did it because I loved the game. I refereed, and you know, in 1984, when you were getting paid $70 a game to drive, you know, there were times I would drive, who knows, 5-6 hours to a game if that meant I could get an assignment. just to, work a game. The good thing, and then it was like, we knew whoever refereed at that time was doing it because they had a passion for officiating. You had a passion for the game, because you certainly were not going to make a living doing it. But what I learned early on when I started trying to figure out, once I realized that this was a big deal, or, you really could make some inroads with this kind of a gig, then it's when I got almost harmful to myself. I started trying to figure out what everybody wanted. What does this person want? How can I make this coordinator happy? How can I make, because I was picked up early then, like I did the Southern, then the ACC, then the SEC. By the time I was 27, I was in all three of those conferences. And I was driving myself crazy because I was like, what can I do to make this person happy and this person happy and this person happy? And then I remember one summer, I just said, stop, just stop. I sat down with myself and I went, this is nuts. I don't know how to do this. So I had that self-talk, and this was in 1991. I had the self-talk and I said, I need to stop trying to figure out what everybody else wants. I'm going to pursue this officiating thing with pureness of heart, because I love the game of basketball, because it gave me, my high school basketball coach is still one of the most influential people in my life. And without her, I'd be afraid of where my life would have gone. So I owed the game a whole lot vis-a-vis Gene Fry. I knew my heart was in the right place. So I just said, stop it. Stop trying to figure out what everybody else wants. Address the game with the passion, with the purity of heart, with the desire to do the game service as well as you can. Control what you can control. I can control what I know in this book. I can control how often I work out, which is every gosh darn silly day. I can control, you know it. I see it, Jeff, every day. I know. So I just said, and just address the game with what you know is real. I don't want to make mistakes out there. And, there are many times I look at players and go, oh, I'm so sorry. That was awful. And most of the time they go, it's okay, D. It's all right. We know. But, that was 1991. I remember that summer because I felt like I should have moved on in the tournament. I was distraught. I went, guess what? I said, the heck with it all. I just went at it with intensity and purity of heart. And 1992 was my first Final Four. And guys, I am happy to say I have not missed a Final Four since, except the 5 years I was in the NBA. Now, I wish everyone that kind of career. I've been blessed. It's been a tremendous run. I've had amazing mentors. And, like Jen said, when she thanked me for giving her that insight, I thanked everybody along the way and said, tell me what you know. I called these people at poor June Courteau. She was my first mentor. I'd be driving back from a game thinking I was so funny with that coach, and it bombed. I said this, it didn't work. What should have I said? And fortunately, I had tremendous mentors with June, with Daryl Garrettson, with Joey Crawford, with Joe DeRosa, with just so many people who have helped me along the way. And I'm still listening to you guys too. I want younger officials to talk to me because this is my 38th year. I want to make sure I'm still relevant to what's happening on the court. So I'm willing to learn every single day. And I've spent so much time on your 125 question test. If you need it, let me know. We'll talk about it. But, really, Kev, it's just, I think that, the best advice I can do is control what you can control and enjoy the gosh darn ride. Even if you don't become a Final Four official, there's so much enjoyment out there, meeting amazing people, having fun. It's just an amazing blessing, and good people who do this. We've got to be silly and stupid that we put on bad polyester and let people scream at us. We're special. That's all I say. So enjoy the specialness and enjoy each other and just have fun. Beat yourself up when you kick the fire out of a call. I had many sleepless nights, and I'll still have many others. But, enjoy the ride, learn from each other. Be kind to yourself when you do miss those calls. Recover. I don't know. I'm still going. So I hope to work with every single one of you sometime. But if you're in here, if I don't work, I don't know how many more years I'm on the court. It's not going to be 5. It's not going to be 10. I don't know. So being the oldest woman in D1 now, can you stand it? No way.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
Technically, I think I am. But I'm not the oldest person. There are men, but nobody cares about the men, right? Women, they don't ask the men, when are you going to retire? How long have you? See?
Absolutely.
I see you.
Absolutely.
You know, they don't ask them.
Don't get Keena started.
You know, it's like you walk out on the floor with 2 other women and I go, wow, we have 3 girls tonight. I said, Jesus, I'm 14 again. I love it. You know, it should be amazing. So, but I hope that was, you know, that's how I feel. You know, this game has been incredibly blessing. You know, I've traveled the world because you know what to do with a piece of black plastic. So everyone, be safe this season. Do what you can. Be ready. Be prepared, because there's going to be some situations they're going to need you to fill in. I'm telling you. And when they call you, you never know. I mean, I'm telling you, they called me one time. I mean, I felt horrible because I had way too many beers the night before, but I remember Joe Kafer called me and said, can you go to Maryland? That was a 7-hour drive from Asheville. I said, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Never. I mean, you're afforded an opportunity. Take it. If you can. So guys, I appreciate the time with you, but if anybody has questions, you're welcome, Mark. Anyone has questions, please shoot me an email. Kevin knows, he'll give you my information. And I don't say that just because it's the good thing to say. I mean it. Yeah. If I can help you guys, like I always said, I will teach you everything I know about this game. And if you take my games, I'll be the first one applauding you. I promise you. My first Final Four, June Courteau was my alternate. You know, and I felt bad because it was like, you know, June should have been there, but thank God, you know, she was there because we had 63 fouls in that game. And I went over every time going, oh my God, what are we doing? She goes, keep blowing. I'm like, oh God, it was horrible. Horrible game. So guys, thank you. And if I can help ever, let me know. Kev, anything else?
No, D, I
was in the chat the other night and he spelled my name without the second N. Tell Eddie you can't do that.
I will definitely tell Eddie.
Then I turn into a wine flask. I am not decanter. I'm not a decanter. Okay? I'm decanter, you know, but somehow my second N disappears often. And then I become a wine flask. You'll hear it on TV too. Decanter. So
I will definitely tell him that. Well, like I said, D, you have influenced a lot of us, and thank you for joining the call and giving these young officials and myself some more nuggets to work with. We appreciate you, and we will definitely have you back.
Well, thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye, Mike. Thanks for laughing at me sometimes. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Shamil and the girl says hi.
Bye. Oh, tell her, hey. See you guys.
All right, D.